So I recently discovered a game that came out in 2024 called Kunitsu-Gami. And the premise of the game is that you have to escort the priestess from one end of the map to the other. But the complication is that there's a day-night cycle. And at night, demons come out of gates and attack the priestess and you have to defend her. So it turns into a kind of active action RPG, real-time strategy where you can place villager units around the map to prevent them from reaching her, as well as to defeat the demons before they get to her. When the night ends, the sun rises and the demons, they dissipate into nothing, and she continues to make her way to the gate, dancing all the way. And once you make it to the end of the map where the defiled Torii gate is, this gate to the spiritual realm, you reach it and there's a mini game where you perform a ritual dance to purify the gate from the wickedness that consumes it. Not only is it challenging, but the beautiful part of the game, and my favorite part, is when you cleanse the gate. Every map is covered with this corruption. There's like these hands and like this goo and this fleshy kind of substance that has a sheen over the trees and the stones, and a lot of things are broken. And when you cleanse the gate, it just fades into dust as if the sun rises and the demons are purged. It's beautiful. Everything glows with this light of purity. It's so pretty, but it got me thinking how so many games leverage this concept. A lot of games have this theme where the purpose of the game is to go into an area and then you defeat all the enemies or something and you restore it to the way that it once was. So another game that's like this and that is actually quite linked to Kunitsu-Gami is Okami. If you ever played that on the PlayStation 2, where you were the sun goddess Amaterasu and your goal was to go into an area, defeat all the demons, and then cleanse it and restore it back to its natural setting where the plants were not sickly and dying, but they were beautiful again, where the trees were growing and where the sun shone through, It was a really beautiful game based on that restoration mechanic. And another game that has a similar concept, but is a wordless game, it mostly relies on the music and the sound effects, which has great sound design and great art, is Gris, which I always thought it was Gris, like French gris, gray, but apparently it's Gris. Actually, let me check that. Gris game pronunciation. How do you pronounce the name? Oh, they're Spanish. It's a Spanish development studio. So if it's Spanish, then it should be Gris. Anyway, another game like that is Gris, where you go into an area and I guess I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It's a very beautiful game, but like you start the game and you don't have a voice. Like she reaches out, she tries to enunciate, but her voice is gone. And it seems like the implication is she's gone through some kind of trauma, some kind of heartbreak, some devastating thing has happened in her life and she feels voiceless. So the point of the game is to go through each area which is lacking in color, and once you reach the end, you solve the puzzles or whatever, you reach the end and you can restore color to that area, and that's a reflection of her inner life. So every time you restore color to an area, it adds not only abilities to the player character, but it adds more color to the game itself. So all these different shades end up coming together, combining to create different colors, and it is just an art piece of a game. But there's other games that are slightly less linked to that as well. You have like the Far Cry series, Just Cause, or even like the new Assassin's Creed series. It gets very repetitive, but your goal is to conquer each region that's owned by the bad guys, right? The enemy faction, the corrupt government in Just Cause. But it's owned by the bad guys, and your goal is to go in, defeat all the minions. After you defeat the minions, then you own it, and it's restored to what it was intended to be, a useful, welcoming, inviting place. See, I like that concept. I like making things beautiful again. There's a lot of games that are not very pretty, not very beautiful, and they push me away from playing them because they're ugly. And the goal is not restoration, the goal is just repetitive destruction or something. But in no other game is it more compelling than in Okami and now Kunitsu-Gami. I can't believe this game flew under the radar. I think I heard it mentioned at like the Game Awards a couple years ago as like the best strategy game or something. It was nominated. I don't think it won. But man, this is a really good game and it's beautiful. It's so, the art, everything looks like a painting. One of my favorite parts of the game is the stages can be very stressful. So you go into a stage, it's daylight, you have a limited amount of time to walk around and see if there's any villagers in there that you can cleanse and add to your repertoire. But as the night approaches, the music starts to drum, like drums in the deep, goblins from the depths of the mines of Moria. Your blood pressure starts to rise a little bit because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. You know, I got to make sure my units are in the right place. I got to make sure that I have enough units to place in the first place. Lots of places. And so it's a little stressful. But once you beat a level, you are able to return to any of the villages that you've cleansed. And there's just this pleasant medley playing in the background. And you walk around and you can give the villagers tasks like to repair a certain area of the map. As you go through the game, you'll find little animals. You can find like birds or pigs or chickens or deer, and you can cleanse them too. And then you'll find them eventually once you beat the level. They'll be in the village. Happy little animals, and you can interact with them. It's just, oh man, it's just so beautiful. Such a beautiful thing. And it got me thinking, like, the reason why I appreciate the cleansing in this game so much for its beauty is because I saw it broken first. I saw it corrupted first. You're presented with this corrupted, ugly level, and then you see it restored to the way that it was supposed to be, and it's all the more beautiful for that fact. And it got me thinking about how real restoration isn't restoring something to the way that it once was. It's restoring it to a stable state where the trauma that has been induced as a result of the corruption still left its scars, but the scars themselves make the restored state more compelling for the fact that they exist in concert with it. So to me, restoration is much more compelling when you can see the broken pieces in the restored state. It's probably a trope now, but people often reference the Japanese practice of kintsugi, which is like, oh, you broke a pot, so now let's not make a new pot, but let's fix the pot with some inlay, typically precious metal, that will highlight the cracks in the bowl and make it more beautiful than it was before it was broken. And I think people use that as a trope because it's such a good real life physical observable metaphor for what restoration actually looks like. Restoration is not restoring something to the way that it was before. You're trying to do that, but inevitably because of its brokenness, it's not going to be the way it was before. It's going to be more mature. Its beauty has depth to it now. And people are the same way. We experience a lot of things in life. A lot of them are traumatic. Some of them are horrible. And just like in Bastion, it gives you two choices. Spoilers for Bastion. If you haven't played it by now, you know, I hadn't played it. I played it like 14 years later. But if you haven't played Bastion by now, there's spoilers ahead. It gives you two choices at the end of the game. One is to undo the calamity. But inevitably, the game tells you it's probably going to happen again. Or you can destroy the Bastion, which was the cause of the calamity. You can accept the great tragedy that has occurred and attempt to rebuild on top of the scars of a broken world. And I chose the latter. I thought it was the only real option, because the other option is just like, I'm gonna undo it, but it's all pretend. It's all just pretend. And just like in Bastion, you can either choose to try to undo everything, to try to pick up the pieces of your life and put them back to the way that they used to be, or we can accept the fact that this thing has happened. My life is never going to be the same again. Yet it's all the more beautiful for that fact. Because I've experienced this, now I've experience in this, and I can help other people who've experienced what I have, who might still be in that state or who might just be getting out of it. Now you can share your wisdom and experience with that person. all that to say is we're in the Christmas season right now. I'm recording this in December 2025, and a lot of people, they celebrate it because it's about the gifts, it's about family, it's about all this. Even though Yeshua of Nazareth was not born in the Christmas season, if you're religious or whether you're not, he offers hope that you can be restored. He is the source of all restoration. The scripture says that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted, and he saves people whose spirits are crushed. We can be real awful. We can hurt each other. We hurt the environment. We hurt animals. We hurt ourselves constantly. There's a lot of beauty in the world, but there is a lot of darkness. And just like the Tory Gate, all of us are corrupted through our thoughts, through our actions, through the things that we feel and the way that we treat people, the way that we react to things, intentionally or unintentionally. We've all hurt somebody, but only the light of Christ can restore us to what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be whole. We're supposed to be a bowl that's broken and restored and more beautiful than its original state. We can be beautiful again. I love games about restoration, man. It is the most satisfying element to me when you're not just, conquering stuff out there, but you're conquering for a purpose, where there's a goal in mind, where you restore something to a state where it's better than it was before. So whether or not you celebrate, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. See you in the next one.